Senior year in high school, for senior literature and composition, I had to give an oral and PowerPoint presentation about a topic of my choice to advocate for. Okay? Essentially, a topic that I felt needed to be recognized by the public a little more. And my presentation was called Benefits of Psychedelics. It was certainly not an easy presentation to give. I'm just going to move my script here so I can look in the camera. It was not an easy presentation to give. Although I worked hard on the quality of my slideshow and the accuracy of the information, the underlying fear of judgment from my classmates haunted me. I realized I felt this way due to the controversial topic that I chose to discuss compared to the more mundane and actually more well-known topics that my classmates selected from a pre-generated list. After stuttering, liking, and umming and pit stains, I received a 90 on the assignment since my teacher at least knew what the fuck I was talking about. I learned that it's alright to deliver presentations on controversial topics like that, but I need to deliver them in a confident and straightforward manner so I don't look like a fool. I would say that I'm neither fearful or completely comfortable with public speaking, although I would love to be completely comfortable. It's going to help me to become famous, I guess. Anyways, in my experience, the level of nervousness or excitement when it comes to public speaking comes down to being context specific. I'm much more nervous to deliver my presentation about psychedelics as a 17-year-old to his classmates than to ring up random customers at the takeout shop I work at, or calling out orders to the number of customers waiting, or making pizzas behind the counter with 40 eyes watching me. That does not make me nervous because, hey, at least I'm getting paid and I can tilt the brim of my cap down and I don't have to look back at them. I used to have a certain anxiety of the judgment from an audience, but more specifically, the fear of the audience interpreting my ideas in the incorrect way, leading me to overthink way too much about what I should say. And it's been a while since I presented, but in time, my fear of judgment has gone down significantly. One challenge that I've faced in my presentations was too many words on one slide. Of course, it doesn't really apply here because I'm talking to a camera and there's no slideshow behind me. There's a candle though. That's pretty cool. But I would fill in too much information into too small of a space, and I'm trying to put too much information. I'm trying to give too much information to people without structuring it. And I really put all those words there so that I can remember what to say. Now at this point, I'm not going off of what I wrote for my online course. I'm now going off of my head. But I would like to say that when it comes to public speaking, it's really important that you speak with clarity and authenticity and fidelity and confidence. Did I already say that? I think I said it. Well, confidence is a big thing. So many people will go up on a stage or go up in front of their class and say nothing, really, because they're too scared to say fucking anything. What are you scared of? You need to think about it. Because the fear of presenting, it's not because you're scared of presenting, because presenting is something that you're born to do. You present yourself every day in a number of ways. You present yourself to your friends and your family and your teachers and your romantic partner. You present yourself in many ways all throughout your day, all the time. So as soon as you put the title on a presentation as standing in front of a group of people, you've already been doing that. It's just you're labeling it and giving it that negative connotation. You want to look at it as the things about presenting that you are scared of. Are you scared of judgment? That's a very common thing. I used to be scared of judgment too. Now look at me. I'm talking nonsense in front of a camera for a YouTube audience of 38 people. You ever think there was a time where I was scared to do this? There was a time where I laid in my bed and said, oh, I want to talk about stuff to people, but I don't know how to do it. But, you know, now that I've moved away from that fear, and I actually worked up the balls to pick up the microphone and set up the camera and set up the ring light behind the camera and get my ideas compiled together. Now I can finally say that I have made a difference in reducing my fear of judgment. And when it comes to fear of judgment, you gotta be mindful of it. People will say that they're scared of presenting, but not know why. Like I said before, they don't even realize that they're scared of being judged. They just think they have to be an exact certain way because of their already preconceived beliefs, that they have to act a certain way to impress other people. And that underlying system of belief can come from what they had to do growing up to make their parents happy or make their friends happy. So when you stop associating public presentation with having to make a specific person happy and you want to impress an entire audience, you'd rather do it your own way, because at the end of the day, it's about entertaining. If you're trying to entertain an entire audience, it doesn't have to be a comedy show, but it's got to be something that's authentically and genuinely you. And when you want to be authentic, that's another way that you can really convey your message to people. Because if you put on a mask and you pretend to be someone that you're not when you're trying to present, people can tell somebody smart, or they'll assume things about you that just aren't true whatsoever based on what you present yourself as. So if you show yourself as an authentic, true, well-rounded, self-respected individual, you will be able to convey these messages a lot better to people. When I presented about the benefits of psychedelics to my senior lit and comp class, I was fucking nervous as all hell. Because, first of all, everybody in the class, or most everybody in that school, just assumes psychedelics are a hard party drug that are going to fry your brain. Some people already have these preconceived notations of what psychedelic drugs are. Some people were understanding of what I had to say. Some people had no clue what I had to say, and some people thought I was going insane. And I knew this. I knew this was going to happen because not everybody decides to talk about that kind of stuff in a high school class. I did, because I realized the importance of having to say stuff about that. I picked up on the fact that I had something that I was knowledgeable on that I could share to an audience to make a difference. And when I realized that, that's when the fear started setting in. The fear of people not interpreting what I have to say correctly. And that led me to overthink. That made me nervous. That made me sweaty. Because I wanted to make sure I was saying everything in the right way to sound professional and not like a druggie, basically. But, like I said, try to be authentic. Try not to put on a mask for people. I was trying to put on the mask that I wasn't a druggie. Obviously, I smoked a lot in high school. And I took psychedelic drugs, and would I call myself a druggie? No. But was I scared that people would start thinking that I'm a druggie if I presented that topic? Yes, that is what I was scared of. I didn't want people to think of me in the incorrect way. I didn't want people to interpret what I had to say in the wrong way. And like I said, I overthought everything way too much. I got a 90 on that assignment because my teacher, bless you, Mr. Cass, I miss you. He knew what the fuck I was talking about. But that's besides the point. I am in this class, my first class for Full Sail University for my recording arts degree. The class is called Creative Presentation, and it's basically learning about how to present yourself to an audience in a clear, concise, and creative way to get your ideas across in a straightforward way, basically. And this class, I've later learned, is the first class that every single student at Full Sail University takes. And I think I was really surprised by that because I figured it's all going to be course specific. Not everybody's going to get to take this class first, but no, this is the very first class that every single Full Sail University student takes. And this is, without a doubt, the class that I'm going to take the most seriously. Obviously, it's the first class, so who knows what the rest is going to be. But I'm taking this seriously because I want to be able to present myself to people in an authentic, creative, and confident way. There isn't much more to say about that. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.